All right, this is a review of the SB Fitness CT700 versus their 400 and a few other models that I've also ran on in the past. This does come from Pennsylvania. I live in Idaho, so it took about 2 weeks ship via freight to get here. I did get it around the holidays, so I got it for around $2,700 or so. Assembly wise, it took maybe 2 or 3 hours by myself to do. I think it'd be better to have a second person because you have to hold this up on an angle while you put the bolts in. And it's a little bit cumbersome, but not too bad. They do use some pretty heavy gauge steel. And I don't know, I can't tell the difference if those are powder coated versus painted, but they did a really good job on the finish work. I'm actually pretty impressed by it. Some things that are a little bit different versus the SB Fitness CT700, which is a manual treadmill, versus some of the other ones. One of the things that I liked about it is the tread is 19 inches wide across versus like the Assault Fitness, which is 17 inches across. They do say it's 67 inches long, which is a little bit longer than the Assault Fitness, but they do measure all the way to the very end. I was kind of curious where they stopped the measurement. Obviously, you're not running really past the crown right here on both sides, which is kind of where the Assault Fitness, so lengthwise, not a big difference. I'm a big guy at 6'3", and I don't really, to me, I thought that was going to be a big deal, but it's not. It looks about the same size as, for example, my NordicTrack X32i, which is a big treadmill. And I have plenty of running room on that one. Of course, it's a little bit wider, but I haven't really cared too much. A big thing with a lot of these is you have plenty of room on the side to put your feet. And that's the same with this, obviously, because if you're sprinting, you got to get off pretty quick sometimes. There is a little bit of a texture on this platform right here, and I don't find my foot slipping at all when I'm running on it. As for the grip and texture on the actual tread itself, it has kind of a rubbery grip to it. It has these itty bitty little circles here, and it seems to grip really well. And you can see how this plastic rubber is kind of cut, so it's really tight here. It allows it to bend and open up as it goes over the roller. Construction is pretty much all the same on all these. All the brands are kind of the same. You got these big, huge stainless steel bearings. You have the big ones to kind of hold this groove in, which, I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. And then these are just kind of bolted on these little slats that run across. Obviously, it can hold quite a bit. They claim they can hold, I think, 475 pounds, if I remember right. This is a battery operated monitor. So the second you start moving it a little bit, it turns on. So it does have 8 levels of resistance. I'm just gonna move it to the easiest. So if you just start walking on it, it takes just a second or two, and it's gonna display miles per hour up there. It has your time right there, and if I reset that, it goes to 0. That's my total miles there. Total calories, I believe I've burned, and then distance. I haven't really played around with the mode or the set a whole lot, but there's a few variations on things, so you can definitely do that. It's quiet. I'd say it's quieter than my NordicTrack. It's as loud as any of the other manual treadmills, and it definitely gets louder if you're sprinting. The show is my NordicTrack and all the other treadmills. If you're going 9, 10, 11, 12 miles an hour or more, it's going to get loud. Now, once you increase the resistance, I have to get all the way up on the incline in order for it to go. Kind of feels like you're walking up like a 5, 6, 7% grade. If you grab onto the handles, you can almost do kind of a mid-running sled workout. There's a spot for your phone, but if you put your phone there, it kind of covers everything up, so I don't really use it that much. It does not come with a bottle holder, so I did tap and dyed a spot there. I just got this, $10 carbon fiber bottle holder on Amazon, and I put it on. And the wiring for the monitor comes up through a hole here, goes through this arm over there, so you're not worried about hitting anything on that side. Obviously, if you put it on that side, you're going to run into the risk of hitting that wire, which goes down and hooks onto a magnetic resistance. And that magnetic resistance is really cool. So you pull that piece off to hook up the cable, which is really easy to do. And it just, to me, it worked right away. I know you can have, if it's off a little bit, it can cause some issues, but I think it works pretty good. So pros and cons. Pros, this is quite a bit cheaper than the Assault Fitness Elite and Pro. To me, they're pretty equivocal. I think manufacturing wise, I think the Assault Fitness may have a little bit of an edge on this, but this is pretty good, especially for $1,300 cheaper than the Elite version of the runner. They have a pretty darn good warranty. The cons, does not have the lifetime tread warranty like the Assault Runner Pro. Elite has. The Pro does not have the lifetime warranty on the tread. And the only other thing as well, I know exactly where it's at, but let's see, it's this one right here. The band that runs all the way across, it sits on those bearings right here where they manufactured that band. There was just some of the holes where they inject into the molding for that band had a few holes, and when I run on it, I can feel it running around along those bearings. So when I first got it, that first half mile or mile, I could really feel it, and it actually would slow it down. So it'd run fast, and then it would slow it down, and I was like, oh great, what's going on here? But after just 5 miles, it was mostly gone, and here I am at 15, 20 miles, whatever I'm at, and I can still feel it. But I did talk with Brant, who is in charge of their sales, and to some of their customer service, and he said that that should wear out over time. Shouldn't be a big deal. He said there was one time, I guess, that it was pretty bad, and they did have to replace the track. So they obviously will do that if you're concerned about that. I don't think I'm too concerned about it right now. Runs good. I think it's a great buy. I think they're all pretty much built the same. I think the only thing that's really cheaper than this is probably maybe the True Grit, which I've not run on, but you read the reviews on that, and there's been a lot of issues that they've had. My biggest issue with not going with Assault, even though they have some of that lifetime warranty, is difficulty getting hold of customer service. A lot of people complaining on the reviews that they couldn't get a hold of customer service, and I think that's a big deal. Where you go on the reviews on Amazon or on SB Fitness's page, and they get a hold of people right away. And I've called SB Fitness twice, and they've either called or emailed right away. The last thing I was going to mention, it's really stable on the ground. It's actually, for me, easier to move than my Nordic Track. The feet were easy to adjust and was just a little bit off when I first got it. I think I brought that one down just a little bit, and it was good. So I think it's a good buy. I think they're a pretty darn good company. Hopefully, if I have any issues in the future, they'll help me with it. But hopefully, it's a piece that I have pretty much the rest of my life. These manual treadmills should last forever. All right, that's the review. Thanks.